Hey guys, welcome back to today's battle report, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be playing through a custom scenario written by Tom from TNG Productions. Now, Tom has a video where he's already run through this and kind of set the pace for everyone else to do. So I'm going to go ahead behind him and have my rendition at it. So for his scenario, in a nutshell, we have two survivors, and we can have up to a 100-point list. Now that is the survivor base cost and any weapons that they're carrying. We're going to have the survivor over there on the board edge, which in this case happens to be Negan. They have to get to the middle of the board and then perform a "Are you okay?" check on that survivor, which here we have is Dwight. So when we get over to him, I'll explain how that check works out. But for right now, just know that we have two survivors and 100 points to spend between them. There are going to be 8 walkers scattered throughout the middle of the board, and there are 2 supply counters. Now to win, there's a complicated math rubric that we'll go over at the end of the game right here, and we'll calculate some points, and we'll see if we can't get a better score than Tom has already set. To get the survivors off the board, you can see those orange cones back there. We have to take 1, hopefully 2 of them, and get them off of the board edge. So let's go right into it at turn 1. All right, so for turn 1, before we get started, guys, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We got so many battle reports up there for Walking Dead. You can spend a whole lot of time in quarantine watching these videos, so go over, make sure you subscribe, and don't miss any of them. Now, at 100 points between Negan and Dwight, you can imagine that Negan doesn't have enough points to take Lucille with him. So this is just base Negan. This is the bad mother effer version of him. So for his first action, he's going to run towards that car, bang on the hood to draw the walker off of it, and then hopefully in the next turn, we're going to search that supply target token. So Negan goes over, right into the hood of the car, making noise and pulling the closest walker to him. Just like that. And that's going to be all the survivor actions. Dwight does not become playable until we get within his kill zone and perform that "Are you okay?" check. So from here, we're going to go right into our first kill zone check, and that's going to bring that walker over into contact with Negan as well. And I got to go back and correct myself here before I get too far into the game. The threat for this game is going to start on 3. One of the additional rules says that anytime that noise is generated, that increases the threat also. So because Negan ran, threat goes from 3 to 4. Now we're going to go into our first event card. And our first event card is going to be, full disclaimer, I'm using all of the expansions rolled in here with this. Surrounded, so +1 to the threat takes us up to 5. All kill levels of player with initiative must choose one standing survivor, friend or foe. Place kill zone where that model and blue walkers immediately enter play and are placed at the edges of the kill zone. So we'll pick Negan and we'll go ahead and do this. So we roll a 2 there. What we're going to do now is place the kill zone over top of Negan and then bring in 2 walkers outside of that. And then we bring in Ronnie and Shane to the party. And now we're going to move up the threat by 1 to 6 and go into melee combat with Negan against 2 walkers. And so Negan in combat, he has a blue as his base, and we're facing 2 walkers, so that's going to give them 3 purple dice fighting in return. So in combat, Negan is able to get that headshot. We remove 1 walker, and the other walker is knocked back and prone. It's going to take us into our end phase, so we're going to roll now to see if that prone walker stands back up. So on the 50-50 roll, the badge is good and the walker will stay prone, and the blank is bad and the walker will stand. And at the start of turn 2, that walker has stayed prone. We have upped the threat by 1 to 7. And for Negan's first action, he's going to go ahead and search the car. And we are going to find a trash can lid, so we can add white to our melee defense roll against walkers. Negan doesn't defend in combat, so go ahead and we give Negan the trash can lid just in case. Just in case he doesn't want to attack somebody. Second action, we're going to make a run action and get over here towards Dwight. So spin the board around there a little bit. Negan gets right in Dwight's face, and I'm sure he's going to have some choice words with him. That's going to cause noise again, up the threat by 1 to 8, and draw on the closest walker, which will be the Mohawk guy, who will just nudge over here into contact with Negan. Again, that's all of our survivor actions, so we're going to go ahead and check out some more kill zones. And again, we're going to have Negan against 2 walkers. So before we do that, let's go into our event card. So second event card is Pandemonium. +1 to the threat takes us to 9, and we are in medium threat now, where each player rolls double blue and moves that many eligible walkers in a direction of their choice, and then blue walkers will enter play. Alright, double blue walkers getting moved. It's a high roll. And while we're here, we're going to then have blue walkers enter play. So just for before and after, this is where our walkers are at currently. And then we're going to go ahead and move 5 of them. And this is what we wind up with after that. So Negan is probably going to go ahead and use that trash can lid. So as we go into the melee phase, threat goes up by 1 again to 10. And we're going to have Negan being completely swarmed by 4 walkers here. Alright, so for Negan here, we're going to go ahead and roll the walker attack first, which is going to be 10 dice. Now, I don't have 10 purple dice, unfortunately, so it's going to be a mix. I'm going to have 6 purple and 4 red for all these walkers. So that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. 7 successes and a bite for the walkers. Negan in defense has a blue as his base, and we're going to get a white because of that trash can lid. Alright, so now we have Negan takes 4 wounds and is bitten after that combat there. So that's going to be the end of turn 2. We have Negan's bite to roll for and 1 prone walker. So let's go take care of that. Alright, so we're going to go prone walker first. And now Negan's bite. Again, badge is good and it does not spread. Blank is bad and the infection will spread and he'll lose another wound. And here at the start of turn 3, the threat has moved up to 11. And for our first action, we're going to have Negan go ahead and make that Are You Okay roll. So here's how this is going to work. We're going to look at our threat level, which is 11. We're going to subtract 1 from that and roll that many dice as an attack against Dwight. And if he somehow manages to survive, then he'll take whatever wounds and be alive. If he fails, he's just going to be a walker, and all that work Negan has done to get to him will have been for nothing. So, here's a tip for you guys. If you're going to play through this mission, take someone that's good at threat management. Alright, so here we go. We're going to roll 10 dice again for this attack. We got 6 purple and 4 red. And Dwight's going to go and try and defend himself. Now he has 1 white as his defense, so we'll just throw that in there because it'll be a nice contrast. Alright, so after all that, Negan goes and fights his way to get over to Dwight, runs through a herd of zombies, only to find out that Dwight was a walker all along. So we got 1 action left. Negan is now going to try and run off of the board and see if he can survive. So we go ahead and sprint 8 inches forward, upping the threat again because of the noise in this game to 12. And that's going to draw in the closest walker, who trails right there behind us. We're going to go ahead now and go to our next event card because everyone is out of Negan's kill zone at this point. And we have the hunger. So +1 to the threat, up to 13, keeps us at medium. Each player rolls blue and moves that many eligible walkers towards the nearest survivor. So we're going to go ahead and move 2 more. And we're going to go ahead and scoot up Walker Ronnie and the police officer lady just outside Negan's kill zone. We're going to up the threat by 1 to 14 into high threat and go into melee combat. This time, thankfully, it's just Negan against 1 walker. And we're going to have Negan go ahead and try and attack this time. So again, 1 blue against 1 purple. And so we're able to go ahead and knock that walker back an inch and prone. It's going to take us into our end phase, and we have 2 prone walkers now, and Negan with a bite. So we'll go ahead and roll for that. So we have prone walker 1 back there by the silver car from the beginning of the game. Prone walker 2 that Negan just knocked down. And now Negan's bite. Alright, so here at the start of turn 4, the threat has been upped 1 to 15. Negan is down to his last wound, and all we're going to get him to do now is sneak off the board edge here, right beyond these orange cones. That's going to end the game. And with Negan now in the safe zone, I can go ahead and explain how we're going to score this game. I'll put a graphic up there so you guys can follow along with me, and then I'll explain how I did. So to start, we are going to take our threat level, and that's going to serve as our basis. So here, we ended the game on threat 15. We're then going to add 1 for each turn that we took in the game. We took 4 turns, plus 1 for each survivor that was bitten. Negan was bitten there. Plus 2 if each survivor became a walker. So Dwight became a walker, plus 2. Minus 3 if both survivors were able to escape. That's not in our game. And then minus 2 for each supply token that we collected. We did happen to pick up one of those. So after all the math, our score comes out to be 20 points. Now, this game is like golf, and you want to have the lowest score possible. If you watch Tom's video, I think mine is a little bit higher than what he scored. So, if you like this game, go ahead and give me a thumbs up on the video. If you want to see me try it again, and maybe do a little bit better, let me know in the comments what survivors you'd like to see me take. Ideally, I'd like to stay with some guys that are buddy-buddy, so maybe Aaron and Eric, or Rick and Carl. I know that's what Tom did, but got a couple different versions of those two we can run. Maybe Sheba and Ezekiel, Lori and Shane. Someone who can control the threat. If not, just some cool pairings. Remember, under 100 points or at 100 points, including any kind of equipment that you'd like me to run them through with. So, again, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see that video and anything else that I put up. We're going through Woodbury right now in our expansion campaign playthroughs, so you don't want to miss any of those. If you guys have run through this game, let me know in the comments. What kind of score did you get? And then who did you take through it? And I look forward to seeing you guys all in the next battle report.